Welcome to Askprep, your trusted companion for UPSC and IAS preparation. Today, we are diving into a critical and deeply relevant topic in ethics and society, which is corruption in India, issues and solutions. Corruption is a significant impediment to India's economic progress, social justice, and governance effectiveness. It undermines public trust, weakens institutions, and perpetuates inequality, making it a key area of concern for civil servants. For UPSC aspirants, understanding corruption is vital as it intersects with themes like public administration, ethics in governance, and socio-economic development. In this session, we'll analyze the various dimensions of corruption in India, its causes, impact, and potential solutions. By mastering this topic, you'll develop a nuanced understanding of how corruption erodes democracy and what measures can build a transparent and accountable governance system. Without further delay, let's get started. Introduction: Corruption is one of the most pressing challenges facing India today, undermining the nation's economic growth, social justice, and governance. It refers to the misuse of public office or authority for private gain, often involving bribery, favoritism, nepotism, or embezzlement of funds. Corruption adversely affects all levels of society, eroding public trust in institutions, weakening the rule of law, and perpetuating inequality. In India, corruption manifests in various forms, be it political, bureaucratic, or institutional, and affects critical areas such as elections, public services, welfare programs, and corporate governance. Despite significant progress in developing anti-corruption laws, initiatives like e-governance and transparency measures such as the Right to Information (RTI) Act, corruption remains pervasive due to systemic inefficiencies and societal acceptance. Issues related to corruption in India. Pervasive nature of corruption. Corruption affects every level of governance, from grassroots to higher administration, and is seen in almost all sectors, including healthcare, education, and infrastructure. The impact of corruption is systemic, leading to inefficiency, loss of public trust, and a decline in governance standards. It hinders foreign investment and damages the country's global reputation. Political corruption, election malpractices. Electoral corruption includes vote buying, use of muscle power, and unaccounted black money in elections. Policy influence. Powerful interest groups often influence policymakers, leading to biased policies that favor a few rather than the public. Patronage and nepotism. Politicians use their power to appoint loyalists or relatives to important positions, irrespective of merit. Bureaucratic corruption, red tape and delays. Bureaucracy is often riddled with inefficiencies, leading to delays in service delivery. Bribery. Citizens are often forced to pay bribes to access basic services or expedite processes like obtaining permits, licenses, or clearances. Lack of transparency. Decisions made behind closed doors allow corruption to thrive. Judicial corruption, delayed justice. A slow judicial system often leaves room for manipulation by powerful individuals. Influence and bias. Instances of undue influence or favoritism in judicial decisions erode public confidence in the judiciary. Economic corruption, tax evasion. Many individuals and corporations use loopholes to evade taxes, causing loss of revenue for the government. Leakages in welfare schemes. Funds meant for welfare schemes like Manrega, PDS, and subsidies often do not reach the intended beneficiaries due to pilferage and fraudulent claims. Financial frauds. Large-scale financial scams like the Nirav Modi case highlight systemic corruption in the banking and corporate sectors. Social and cultural factors. Acceptance of corruption. In some areas, corruption is normalized and accepted as a way to get things done. Lack of awareness. Many citizens are unaware of their rights, making them vulnerable to exploitation by corrupt officials. Weak institutional mechanisms, ineffective enforcement. Anti-corruption agencies like the CBI and CVC face political interference, reducing their effectiveness. Prolonged investigations. Delays in investigating and prosecuting corruption cases weaken deterrence. Lack of strong deterrence. The absence of strict punishments and penalties allows corrupt practices to persist. Solutions to combat corruption. A. Strengthening legal and institutional frameworks. Anti-corruption laws. Strengthen laws like the Prevention of Corruption Act, 1988, with provisions for stricter penalties and faster trials. Empowering institutions, agencies like Lokpal, Lokayuktas, and CVC must be made independent and given adequate resources to investigate corruption cases without interference. B. Promoting transparency. Digitization, e-governance initiatives like the Government e-Marketplace, GEM, reduce human interaction, minimizing opportunities for corruption. Right to information, RTI empowers citizens to seek information on public spending and hold officials accountable. C. Ensuring accountability. Performance-based evaluations introduce systems to evaluate public officials based on measurable outcomes and efficiency. Whistleblower protection. Strengthen laws to protect whistleblowers who expose corruption, ensuring their safety and anonymity. D. Political and electoral reforms. Transparent funding. Mandate the disclosure of political donations and cap election expenditures to reduce black money in politics. Free and fair elections. Strengthen the Election Commission's powers to monitor and prevent malpractices during elections. E. Judicial reforms. Fast-track courts. Establish special courts to deal exclusively with corruption cases, ensuring speedy trials. Judicial accountability. Implement a robust mechanism to monitor the conduct of judges and judicial staff. F. Public awareness and ethical education. Awareness campaigns. Use media and community programs to educate citizens about their rights and how to report corruption. Ethical education. Introduce ethics and integrity as part of the curriculum in schools and colleges to instill values from an early age. G. Technology as an enabler. Advanced tools. Use technologies like artificial intelligence, AI, blockchain, and data analytics to track irregularities in financial transactions and procurement processes. Grievance redressal systems. Implement online platforms where citizens can report grievances and track their resolution transparently. H. Economic reforms. Simplify taxation. Introduce simpler tax structures to reduce evasion and increase compliance. Ease of doing business. Streamline processes for businesses to reduce bureaucratic hurdles and opportunities for bribery. I. Social and cultural changes. Changing mindsets. Promote a culture where corruption is stigmatized and ethical behavior is celebrated. Community monitoring. Encourage citizen participation in monitoring the implementation of public projects. J's global cooperation. Recovering black money. Work with international organizations to trace and repatriate black money stashed abroad. Best practices. Learn and adopt anti-corruption strategies that have been successful in other countries. Corruption in India every year. Corruption in India is commonly assessed through the Corruption Perceptions Index, CPI, published annually by Transparency International. The CPI scores countries on a scale from 0, perceived as highly corrupt, to 100, perceived as very clean. India's CPI scores and rankings over recent years are as follows. 2023, score of 39, ranking 93rd out of 180 countries. 2022, score of 40, ranking 85th out of 180 countries. 2021, score of 40, ranking 85th out of 180 countries. 2020, score of 40, ranking 86th out of 180 countries. 2019, score of 41, ranking 80th out of 180 countries. 2018, score of 41, ranking 78th out of 180 countries. 2017, score of 40, ranking 81st out of 180 countries. 2016, score of 40, ranking 79th out of 176 countries. 2015, score of 38, ranking 76th out of 168 countries. 2014, score of 38, ranking 85th out of 175 countries. These scores indicate that India's perceived corruption levels have remained relatively stable over the past decade, with slight fluctuations. A lower score and ranking suggest higher perceived corruption. For instance, in 2023, India's score decreased to 39 from 40 in 2022, and its ranking dropped to 93rd from 85th, indicating a perceived increase in corruption. Conclusion: corruption poses a significant challenge to India's development, affecting governance, public trust, and equitable growth. Addressing it requires a combination of legal, institutional, technological, and societal efforts. By fostering a culture of transparency, accountability, and integrity, India can combat corruption effectively, ensuring a fair and just society where resources are used for the benefit of all citizens. At Askprep, we aim to bring such insights to help you prepare better for your UPSC and IAS examinations. Thank you. This is Askprep. Ask us anything. Let's decode complex topics and simplify your journey to success.